Welcome back, Mando.
Greetings, Bucketheads. Mayvar Tagar. Welcome to our 351st Force Awakens, so don't hit the snooze button episode of MandoVision. I am your host, Nargai Tom, and thank you so much for checking out this small, independent Star Wars podcast. We are so glad you're here. Hit us up on those socials at Mando_Vision on X and Insta. Hit me up at MandoVision on Blue Sky. And of course, you can email the show, MandoVisionTom@gmail.com. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share this show with all the Mandalorians in your covert. All right, Bucketheads, we're back for a special episode of the show. We are rejoining the celebration for Star Wars Podcast Day 2026. We had to skip last year. You know, life, it happens. But we're back for this year, and we're celebrating the very first Star Wars podcast that debuted on this day back in 1999, Jedi Talk. And what a crazy, strange journey all of us who have chosen to become Star Wars podcasters have gone on. But these guys were the trailblazers. Jedi Talk back in 1999. Thank you for what you did. We probably wouldn't, we might not be here without you. You know, podcasting is a crazy, crazy world, and you guys blazed the trail for us. So thank you very much for doing so. All right, Bucketheads. In honor of Star Wars Podcast Day, we have a special celebratory episode. Something I had initially sort of earmarked for a December release, more closer to the anniversary. But life happens. But life also finds a way, as Jeff Goldblum taught us in Jurassic Park. So it's here now, and we're using this for our Star Wars Podcast Day celebration, and that is to honor and commemorate the 10th anniversary of the release in the cinemas of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Yes, it's been 10 years, a little over 10 years now, since The Force Awakens debuted in cinemas. The return of Star Wars to the big screen for the first time since Episode 3 was in cinemas. Oh, gosh, probably 10, 11 years before that. And it marked a new era. This was the first of the Disney era of Star Wars films, and depending on your feelings on that, that's a pro or a con. So with that being said, we're going to link up with our good friend from the Come On It's So Good podcast, Regan Myers, the man himself, the host of the Come On It's So Good podcast, and he's going to come on and tell us if this movie's still good. So let's go ahead, link up with our pal, and listen. I don't want to put words in Regan's mouth, but like, he was like us 10 years ago at the movie theaters, psyched for this flick. And I'll be honest, like, he and I have had a lot of private conversations, and sometimes we will sort of diverge from whatever we're talking about on this podcast to, I don't know, maybe fire a couple shots across the bow at the sequel trilogy. But Reagan was there 10 years ago, and it's going to be interesting to revisit our feelings on this film in particular. I'm going to try and keep us focused on this movie alone and not get into the sequel trilogy as a whole. I really want to keep us focused right here on The Force Awakens, what we liked, what we didn't like necessarily. Again, this podcast here on MandoVision, we tend to be very, very positive. We want to emphasize positivity. But we will probably have some negative criticisms about this flick as well. And please don't take that as us being salty, but just trying to be honest with everybody. We want to be very honest, very transparent with our feelings. Again, we're not getting kickbacks from Disney or Star Wars or anybody like that. So what's the harm in us just sharing our honest opinions with you guys? So that being said, I think it's time. Let's go ahead and link up with our good pal Regan, and I'll see you on the other side, Bucketheads. Again, thanks for being here, Buckethead Nation. You are the best. Happy Star Wars Podcast Day. Go out there, check out, look for the hashtag Star Wars Podcast Day. You're going to find a ton of great shows out there dropping shows today. It's a Saturday. Maybe you're just doing some house chores and you need some podcasts to listen to while you're vacuuming, or you're dusting the ceiling fans. I don't know. But check it out. We got a lot of content out there on the internet for you guys today. All right. It's time. You know what that means, friends? Strap on your buckets. Let's go.
Get out of here. We'll hold them off. You're going to have to relocate the covert. This is the way. This is the way.
All right. Joining us now via the power of the internet, our good friend Regan from the Come On It's Still Good podcast is here. Regan, how you doing, my guy?
Greetings, programs. I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, man, we're hanging in there. What's going on in the world of Come On It's Still Good?
Oh, lots. We got a lot of great stuff happening. We just had our I always get our award show, the GB, come out. So check that out. It's everything that we loved and some things we didn't love in 2025. That's out right now.
And it's crazy to think. I mean, another year in the books.
I know.
And another year with no Star Wars in the cinemas. What the hell?
Isn't that crazy? It's watching this movie that we watched that we're going to talk about. I thought, I can't believe they got so scared to put Star Wars in theaters that it's been 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Like 2018, I think, since Rise of Skywalker.
17 or 18, yeah.
Yeah, gnarly. But for this episode, we're going to take a journey back in time. I want to go back to 2015 with you. The news had been out. Disney had acquired Lucasfilm. There was new Star Wars on the horizon. The Force Awakens was coming. J.J. Abrams was going to shepherd in the new Disney era of Star Wars films. How were you feeling when leading up to this movie coming out? Were you excited, pumped, optimistic, or were you like, they're going to blow this thing?
I was extremely pumped.
Okay.
I was a big J.J. Abrams fan. Had Star Trek Into the Darkness come out by this point?
I believe it had, yeah.
Okay. That didn't dissuade me as much as it should have. But I was super pumped. He had a reputation of breathing life and doing something, I want to say new, but I mean, breathing life into stuff.
He has a unique visual style for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If you like lens flares, you're gonna love his movies.
Hey, I mean, this Star Wars film has a lack of J.J. Abrams lens flares for sure.
Yeah. And this movie, I'm sure we'll pick it apart a little bit here and there. It does look wonderful. It looks and feels like a Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Like yourself, when it was first announced that Disney was taking over, I did have some apprehension. And I think most of it stemmed from, I knew that they were ultimately going to get rid of the expanded universe, and I knew that was going to annoy me, and it did. But
yeah, it still annoys me today.
100%. But
it saved me. It saved me at the same time because I don't have to read 100 books a year.
But again, we were going to get Star Wars back in the movie theaters, new content, new stuff, and the optimism, the hope was there. I was all in. I was fired up. I liked JJ. I was a big Alias fan. I liked his involvement when he got involved in Mission Impossible movies. Like that whole series got like righted after he was involved.
The best ones.
Yeah. So
came out with his production company.
And I still really like his Star Trek movie, the first one, for sure. I think is a really excellent reboot.
It's an excellent reboot. The casting is almost perfect.
Yeah.
It's really good. The second one is so bad.
Understood.
And I think he learns a lot of bad habits from that movie that he brings to the Star Wars franchise.
I mean, Into Darkness tries so hard to like out-juke the audience that they blow it. They blow it. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Because we're here for the Force Awakens, Reagan.
I know, but it's just taking things from a previous franchise and putting the smallest twist on it.
Sure.
I know he's talented and he can think of his own thing. I think sometimes he gets in his own way. Yeah. He's like, I want to just reboot Star Wars. I don't really want to make my own Star Wars.
Well, and I mean, that can definitely be debated as far as things go because, I think that was definitely I want to say that's the approach they landed on, right? It was like we want to do Star Wars like new, but we also like want to kind of like keep it familiar too, and we could go back and forth about whether that was the right decision or not. But again, we're not in charge of these things. They made the choices they made.
They never asked me, and I will say when this came out, I loved this movie.
Yeah.
I was pumped. I was high-fiving. I believe I saw it back-to-back weekends with my wife.
I believe I did something very similar.
This was a great point in Star Wars fandom. Is you got The Force Awakens, and I believe Rogue One came out the next year.
I believe that is correct.
And it was awesome. And then we hit some speed bumps, but we're not talking. It was a high point.
Yeah.
High point.
No, it's going to be hard to talk about the flick without talking about the rest of the sequel trilogy, but I still feel like, and again, going back and rewatching the movie this weekend, and it had been, I want to say like 2-ish years at least since I had watched this movie from start to finish, and I tried to watch it with fresh eyes and kind of like keep my personal biases out of it, because I wanted to try and recapture like what I felt 10 years ago with it, which was kind of like a rejuvenation. You're like, oh my gosh, it's new Star Wars, and I'm fired up and all these positive things. And for the most part, I think I was able to do that. I watched this movie, and again, yes, I have my nits to pick, but for launching a new Star Wars saga, new-ish Star Wars saga.
Yeah.
I think The Force Awakens kind of holds up, man. I think it's still a pretty solid watch.
The new characters they introduce are all done very well for this movie alone. Mm-hmm. If I'm trying, it's so hard.
I know.
It's so hard because you're like, oh man, they biff it so hard. But the reason it hurts so much is because they set them up, and Rey's really good, a great character in this.
Great character.
And it could have been one of the most compelling and interesting characters in the whole series.
Yeah.
If they kept pushing it instead of pushing him to the background. And I love the story of the defector, turning on his for lack of a better word, his people.
Yeah. Yeah. Rejecting the First Order.
Right. Why are they the Resistance? Aren't they Princess Leia is part of the New Republic? Yes. They don't do a great job of explaining the governmental structure.
No, there's not a lot of New Republic stuff in there, and then there's a couple of deleted
except
scenes.
When the planets explode.
Well, there's a couple of deleted scenes that you can watch that sort of show that she's been a bit ostracized by the Senate, and there is a little bit more of that corruption kind of back in play. That the New Order's done some politicking, and they kind of shine a negative light. They kind of cast her as a warmonger. She's not here for peace. She's just looking for a new fight to pick, kind of thing. And those end up on the cutting room floor, and they've been in some of the other books that have come out leading up to the sequel era. But the New Republic is not highlighted very much at all in this film, which is a choice, not necessarily one I agree with. But by and large, the new characters that they introduce, I really like them. I like Rey, and I like Finn, and I love BB-8, and I really like Poe. And
Poe's really good.
Yeah, and their dynamic is really good. Their treatment of the legacy characters, again, I'm sure we'll talk about that. Not my favorite.
But in this one, it's not terrible.
It's
the Han and Chewie interaction is maybe it's just me being old and being like, oh, I like that. I could watch a lot of him just grumbling at this Wookiee all day long.
Yeah, and I want to say Han and Chewie in this are great. Han is very Han, and Harrison Ford is doing his thing, and I love it. But what I don't love is the Han's sort of backstory between Return of the Jedi and this point. I don't like the idea of Han as a deadbeat dad. Just somebody who walked out on his family. Well. I don't like that at all. I'll be very blunt. That's garbage. I hate that.
Yeah.
If the expanded universe did one thing really, really well, it was sort of grapple with the idea of Han as a smuggler and a rogue, but also a responsible family person. and a
having
hero
a
of the
family.
rebellion. You know,
Yeah.
I always thought the expanded universe balanced that very, very well. And in this, and it may be more of a sign of where we are as a society in this day and age. Like, we can't have our heroes just be heroes. They always have to fall from grace at some point. So, like, they kind of make Han the guy who, like, peaked in high school, you know? And that bums me out.
Yeah, I mean, it's worse in the books. How they portray him. And...
Yeah, it just bums me out. And, like, it's like, oh, he's just trying to, like, recapture his glory days. And I'm like, I don't like that. And then, of course, that becomes, like, Kylo's source of... One of Kylo's sources of trauma is like, what he perceives as abandonment by his parents. And it's like, I don't like this at all. But again, the new characters, by and large, I do like. Is it familiar? Is there a lot of tropes that we know? Is it kind of regurgitating some stuff from the first saga?
Absolutely. And also, like, Kylo Ren, great as a villain. Menacing, like, in the beginning before you even see his face, when he's just in the helmet and menacing. He has cool force powers. He can stop laser bolts.
Stopping the blaster bolt from Rey.
He can mind jack you. It's great.
From Poe, excuse me. Yeah. No. The way this movie opens, I think, is fantastic. I love the opening. It really sets a nice tone. I was sort of miffed again watching this movie. I was reminded. I was like, oh, we're going to meet some guy that we've never seen before, but they're pretending like he's somebody important. When we meet Laura Santeca, and I'm like, all right, great. A character we've never seen before.
Confused my wife so much. She's like, who's that guy? Is he a legacy guy? And I was like, no, he's nobody. It's just a thing where he's an old guy, so you're supposed to think he was in the back room on Yavin 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was high-fiving a guy.
Yeah, and I was like, again,
at least put a flashback in there. Two guys high-fiving.
I read that scroll and I was like, that's so misleading. Yeah, because you kind of go waiting for it to be somebody that we know.
Anybody. Or like any type of legacy character that had, or like Anthony Edwards or
Anthony Edwards,
not Anthony.
Anthony Daniels.
Daniels, thank you. Yeah, the doctor from ER or Goose. Just put him in. No, Anthony Daniels. Just get him out of the C-3PO costume and have him just be another person, but let him act not as the robot. In that role, and that would just be enough of a cameo that people would be excited. It's the same. He's gonna die by Kylo Ren in 3 seconds. It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, and that again, I hesitate going down this slope, but this was one of my issues with Disney sort of like booting the old canon and not really pretending, kind of ignoring everything that existed, because like. There were ways to incorporate characters that existed in like the Clone Wars or in the Rebels cartoon or something like that. That was content at that point. Or you bring somebody in from the something that the fans would know, but instead you're like, no, like, hey, this like guy you're supposed to have like a lot of affection for, and you're like, I don't know who that is. Yeah,
it's like his death. Unfortunately,
you could have had
nothing.
Yeah, you could have had Rex be there, and like that would have been cool.
Yeah. They could name him Bell Iblis or Graham Bell. What was that guy's name?
Dude, you could have had it be Boba Fett, and I would have been like more stoked. I'd be like, okay, sure, he knows stuff. Like, why not? Like, you could have done
that would ruin the book of Boba Fett. We know how Boba Fett died. Kylo Ren would kill him 20 years from now.
It's such a weird nit to pick, but I mean, it was an odd choice, I thought.
Yeah.
But again, I think the way that movie opens is really, really good. That movie has a really solid 50 minutes where I'm very entertained. I'm enjoying the way the characters meet each other, the way they interact with each other. And until we go to Starkiller Base, I'm having a great time.
Right. It's a fantastic movie. Like, you get the escape from Jakku.
Mm-hmm. Great scene.
Flying the Falcon.
Great scene with the Falcon.
It's incredible still.
Yeah, flying through the superstructure of the Super Star Destroyer. That's fantastic. Yeah, really good stuff.
The Ragnar escape.
Yeah, when they get captured.
Contra Club, and I forget the other group. I mean, having the raid guys in a movie doing no martial arts, I still say is a mistake.
Well, I mean, they would have outshined everybody else in the movie, though.
Well, of course, but you could have them kick one guy.
It's the Guavian Death Gang, by the way.
Yeah,
that's the other one. Yeah, the Contra Club and the Guavian Death Gang, with their cool like Zero red and black helmets.
They
Great
both
look.
have great looks.
Great
They both
looks.
have great looks. They're in the movie for 30 seconds and never heard from again.
But they probably sold a bunch of toys, and that's all that matters.
Probably. Great. Sell toys. But there are 2 other movies.
Well, I mean, in like you said, I mean, visually, this movie is awesome. It's a really great flick to look at. You know,
Even the Star Killer base, the original shot, when they shoot the cannon with all the stormtroopers turning around, it's a beautiful shot.
Dude, that scene's intense, man. Like
Hux
like, doing his speech and getting everyone all fired up and crazed up and foaming at the mouth. Like, that's a great moment. And then, like, Hux, again, without going too far into the other movies, like, never really kind of recaptures that moment again.
No, I mean, same thing with Snoke is a great look. It's something that annoys me is the through line through this new trilogy.
Yeah,
is there's no vision for it,
right?
And I think that's why in these new TV shows that they do for Disney Plus, they don't really touch on anything close to this era because I think it's so disjointed that they don't even care enough to try and figure it out yet.
Well, I mean, it's also frustrating as a fan that information has to sort of like trickle out, like, months after the release of the movie, where you're like, well, Star Killer Base, is that Ilum or not? Like, will you just tell us? And like, it took forever for them to actually confirm it. And I think it was in the last like Jedi Survivor game that you really started figuring it out.
Was it that? I thought wasn't it one of the books? One of the Aftermath or whatever books, or
I think they might get into it in the Aftermath. I don't remember them that well, but I mean, you're definitely on Ilum in Jedi Outcast or Survivor, and they're sort of terraforming the planet, looking for kyber crystals and all that stuff. And you're like, okay, this looks like the shaping of what will become, but it's like that lack of information, as a longtime fan, who likes those deep cut kind of things. Like, that bums me out. That makes me sort of angry. I'm just like, just tell me what planet we're on, for God's sake. Like Luke's planet. Like, the planet Luke's on is a mystery forever too. And it's like, oh my God, just tell me. And of course they pick something that's not in the lore. And you're like, all right, so now I got to justify this with my headcanon, which is annoying, but I make it work.
I know they've always kept secrets and things like that, where, even when Lucas was in charge of the books, he was like, you can't write about the Clone Wars period.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You know,
I mean, yeah, you go back and read those the original like Timothy Zahn books. Like anything he references from the Clone Wars, you're like, okay, well, that's definitely wrong now.
Yeah.
but at the time, you're like, hell yeah, let's go. He has Zahn has a bunch of stuff in there. You're like, yeah, that doesn't track anymore.
Yeah, that didn't pan out anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like at that point too, like the timeline was completely different too. Like I think they were still saying it was like 40 years from the Clone Wars to Star Wars: A New Hope.
A New Hope, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was something along those lines too. So like, there's a much bigger like time difference between the eras. But again, regardless, we're sort of
I know. We're doing what we do best.
Yeah, we're getting a little off the rails.
The sauce of Star Wars.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess my biggest gripe is Star Killer Base. Because at that point, like, yes, we had a bunch of familiarity to A New Hope, but it was different enough that I was on board. When we brought in Star Killer Base, I was like, all right, so we just have a bigger Death Star. And I mean, Han basically says that heading into the third act of the movie.
They say it during the meeting. They're just like, okay, it's bigger.
Yeah.
Or, Miles from Lost is there. And he's like, oh, so it's just bigger. I was like, I get why you're here. You were in Lost.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, yeah, Star Killer Base was like sort of my first checkout moment. It is something that I bumped up against a lot. I was like, oh. So
they get it in the books all the time. I mean, I don't love it, but
it's my knock on the
in the books. Loved super weapons. It's all he did.
Yeah, it's my knock on
never tried to actually conquer anything. He's like, I'm building super weapons. That's all I do.
If I have a knock on the extended universe, it is the reliance on super weapons. I 100% agree with you. Yeah, agreed, no doubt. So the fact that we're just getting a regurgitated Death Star was annoying, and because I feel like to that point, like we had like a fairly compelling Hunt for Luke Skywalker movie going on. Like, hey, we're getting this map going. We're going to go find Luke. He's going to do cool stuff. But like Luke becomes such a secondary quest, a tertiary quest even. Like he's not even like the secondary plot anymore. It becomes front and center on this on Starkiller Base, as opposed to like, hey, where's Luke, and like what happens to the great adventure that we're on. It feels like they changed gears at a certain point in the movie. They're like, well, you know what? Let's just focus on this. And I don't know how I feel about it. It's not like super obvious, but again, to me, it felt like they were setting up like a really great adventure hunt for Luke Skywalker movie, and then it sort of gets sidetracked at a certain point. And that bummed me out.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess it gets sidetracked when they destroy the New Republic.
Yeah, I mean, once the First Order sort of like...
I assume destroy the New... Also, New Republic, don't have all your government buildings in the same star system.
Well, apparently at that time frame, I think they talk about this in those that book.
They move out of Coruscant.
Yeah,
I know that.
I guess it rotates. Like there's like a rotating home planet system in place. It just happened to be Hosnian Prime for this timeline, or not timeline, but this specific time period.
One thing I did think of that I hadn't thought of before, when he destroys these planets, Kylo Ren does.
Tell me more.
I don't think there should be a redemption arc to bring him back to the light. He just blew up 9 planets and kills his father later on in this movie.
I mean, and I was gonna say, like, and the most irredeemable sin of all is killing Han Solo. Let's be honest.
Right? Yeah. I think it's wrong that they try and redeem this character. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've watched The Rise of Skywalker. He dies at the end, yeah?
He does.
He does. Okay, all right, good. He's not just
But
although I did want to see that movie that they were going to make. I want to watch the heck out of that thing.
Agreed. But actually, there's a moment in The Last Jedi where you think that maybe he's turned to the light side when he kills Snoke, and then he teams up with Rey, and they start killing all the guards.
Right. That's a great fight scene.
It is really good.
One of the few parts of that movie I enjoy.
We'll talk about that movie another day. Don't worry. And you and I are gonna have
in like 2 years when you make me watch that movie for the 3rd time in my life. And if I've only watched a Star Wars movie twice, you already know what I think of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you and I have very different opinions on that movie, so that'll be a fun conversation actually. So I am looking forward to that one. I
haven't watched anything. I haven't watched anything Rian Johnson's done since that movie. I haven't watched any of the Knives Out. I haven't watched the Poker Face TV show.
That is another conversation. Let's
Won't touch him. Won't touch him. Can't do
it. Yeah, but I guess again, the first 2 acts of the movie I really like. I don't like Starkiller Base. I don't like that we just kind of like nuked the New Republic. That's kind of annoying because I don't like that we're stripping down all the things our heroes fought for in the original trilogy. It bothers me, upsets me.
Yeah.
I can see why they're doing it for a new audience. I can kind of get it, I suppose, because again, we're doing a sequel, but we're also doing like a soft reboot at the same time. So I guess if that's your goal, you achieved it. But I think you have to know you're going to alienate some of the older fans like us, which again they probably don't care about because they know we're going to die first.
I know they're trying to set up the First Order as this unstoppable force, and I think I think you could just do it by just digitally putting in more Star Destroyers and being like, oh, they're super militaristic. Mm-hmm. Like the remnant of the Empire that has become the First Order is now just all military,
right?
And they've broken out of their borders and they're starting their second civil war to take their power back, something like that. And that's when the New Republic just isn't prepared because it's disorganized and also corrupt. That we're seeing the beginning of in the shows
for sure. And I think I've said it on the podcast in the past, but like the amount of track that Star Wars, the not the film, like the books and the comics, the amount of effort they've had to make to like lay track to set these things up is so infuriating though.
Yeah. I imagine it's a lot.
I'm just like, oh, cool. Now we're doing this Darth Vader arc where we can talk about like waypoints and Exegol, and I'm like, oh god, let's not pretend Exegol was a thing before 2018. Let's come on.
Yeah.
Good lord, like Exegol was always the plan. What? No, stop it. You made that up. That's last minute BS. Again, different movie.
I know.
Let's stay in our lane. But yeah, let's get into that third act because again, I think you and I are on the same page. Like the first third of the movie and even like 2/3 of the movie, really good, enjoyable time. We have some nits to pick, but solid. We're enjoying the new
Very
characters.
solid.
Again, Han's in it and it's great. Not a big fan of his child abandonment, but Harrison Ford's
Sometimes your
bringing
heroes let you down. Don't worry, I'm kidding.
No,
I hate it as well.
Trust me, like that we can talk about that a lot in this one and the next movie. Don't worry. So, like, I got a lot to say about that topic in Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But yeah, disappointing. But like, okay, so hey, all right, yeah, we accept it's the Death Star. Part 3, I guess.
Part 3, yeah.
And it's a little weird that. Well, I don't say that's another nit. I won't go into that one. But we get a cool sequence with the Falcon going to Starkiller Base, crashing on the surface. The infiltration of Starkiller Base. You got Han, you got Chewie, you got Finn. They're going to rescue Rey. Rey's captured at this point. Oh, actually, I want to back up. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me back up. I want to go to Takodana. Talk to me about Takodana, because again, obviously, it's like the stand-in for the Cantina scene.
Yes,
But
very much so. Bands, weird aliens.
I very much enjoy that scene. I like it a lot. I like Maz Kanata.
I like her. I like when she finds the lightsaber and like the force vision she gets. I think is really cool. And it's like, oh, that's setting up something interesting.
Yeah.
And then that place immediately gets leveled.
And it also leads.
I enjoy that battle a lot.
I was gonna say it leads into like maybe one of my favorite things ever, which is the X-wings coming across the lake, which is awesome. That's such a great visual.
And there's one scene of like Finn watching. He doesn't know it's Poe, but he's watching a pilot, and you watch Poe just destroy 12 to 13 TIE fighters.
It's so good. It's a
in
great
one
like
loop,
360 shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
fantastic.
And it looks incredible. And I was like, yeah, this, and also like the new like black X-wings look awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's a great sequence.
I like all the color scheme stuff that they did, like the red stripes on the TIE fighters. And like the little things.
No, the use of color is fantastic in the movie.
One thing that I don't like is this. Now that I'm watching it again, I'm really thinking about it, the Stormtroopers, like the more roundish helmets.
Yeah, okay.
I don't love them. I'm a classic Stormtrooper helmet guy, and they're laying around indoor all over the place. Just go pick them up.
Yeah, I mean the Ewoks made music instruments out of them for decades after that.
yeah. Like you might have to clean out what's ever inside them, but I'm sure the optics still work. It'll be fine.
I don't know. Ewok poo, I've heard, is very pungent.
I'm sure they're using them as like soup bowls or something like that. Get some delicious Ewok soup.
I do like the look of the new Stormtroopers. It was different. I like that it differentiated the eras of Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest. Like, I mean, we got time to get used to that look too, because I mean, I remember when we got that first teaser trailer. I think. It was
how good was that trailer?
And you're in the dropship with the Stormtroopers, and like, the lights are cutting in and out, and you're just seeing like the black and the white, and you're just like, dude, it just popped.
That looked awesome. It was great.
So like, yeah, I got used to it pretty quick from that, because I watched that trailer 77 billion times. So
yeah, I remember watching it a lot. And we haven't talked about Captain Phasma, who looks great, does nothing, but looks fantastic.
Yeah, kind of a waste of a character, but a good visual for sure.
I just equate her to this trilogy's Boba Fett, who's in it for like 8 minutes in a really cool costume. But Boba Fett at least has great lines. Phasma does not.
Phasma does not. And I think I'm in the minority, but I don't care for the Phasma book. I thought it was god-awful.
I haven't read it.
I thought it was Drek. I didn't care for it at all. I know a lot of people that disagree with me on that, but I was like, no thanks.
It's once, like, I thought about reading it, but I know we keep going to the other movies, but once they do nothing with her for 3 movies, it's like, why am I going to read a book? They didn't care enough over 3 films to make any, a type of story with that character.
No, and then a lot of people
make me care.
A lot of people will use that book. They're like, oh, but like we got like Captain Cardinal, who's like in a red version of that armor, and then like there's the gold one from the Resistance cartoon, and I'm like, yeah, great, but these are all characters that we don't know anything about because they've never gone back and done anything with them. So like, who cares? Who actually cares? Like we're just in limbo with all of them. And again, that's one of the things about the sequel era that annoys me to no end. But
Right,
again,
'cause
I digress.
they could have done another cartoon show in between these, or to fill in the gaps between these movies,
Sure.
or a lead up to it, and I'd
Well,
love to watch that.
oh, you mean between Jedi and Force Awakens, or you
Right,
mean okay?
like a Clone Wars type thing. Like, give me like a cartoon that takes place like 5 years before, just so I can get an idea of what the world's like that we're living in. Because
Well, I mean, that's sort of the funny part about what's going on right now with like the Boba Fett show. I mean, like we're dealing with like the Imperial Remnant. They haven't talked about the New Order once. They haven't foreshadowed
right,
that at all. So, like,
well, that's what
I
Thrawn's
think,
going to put into place.
well, I mean, I wonder, but I mean, it feels like Filoni wants to stay as far away from the sequels as he can right now. Like he wants to stay in that George Lucas
Right,
soup.
but see, I think that's a mistake. I think because right now it's like a stepchild that we're really pushing out the window, and I think you need to start filling in the cracks,
Oh, I
and
agree.
and then it will make, you eventually have to fix this foundation that's really gone down the hill.
Well,
So you're going to have to tie it together or reboot the whole thing and start from scratch. And I don't want that because you don't need to. There's still new stories to tell. There's new characters.
well, I mean, but they're so in love with this specific timeline. If they're never going to deviate from it, I feel like they have to at some point. If we just want to stay in the Skywalker verse, I mean, but that's I guess that's up to them.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what now that Kathleen is gone.
Yeah,
We'll see where they go.
yeah. I mean, I definitely want to see that, but I just feel like my in my opinion, they're. Well, okay, hold on. Let me put a pin in that thought because I guess what I really want to say is I wonder if they're sort of taking the same approach that Lucasfilm took to the prequels back in the day. I mean, they just like kind of like let them be for a little while, and those have aged pretty well. And I wonder if they are hoping the same thing will happen with the sequel trilogy. Because again, I'm watching this movie, and it's been a couple of years since I've watched it from start to finish. And,
Me too.
I had a good time.
I did, but I'm also worried if I watch, because when I do rewatches of the series, I only do 6.
Yeah, and fair enough.
And then I stop.
I know.
And like I said, I like this movie, but I don't like the next 2, so I don't even bother getting into it because it's just why bother? That's 9 hours of my life.
Completely. I think that's completely understandable. But I try to remind myself when I do spend some time in the sequel era that it's not necessarily for me anymore. Like this is Star Wars for just like when the prequels came out when we were in our 20s. Those were for the
we were much
kids.
Harsher then, by the way.
100%.
We were much harsher people.
We were very harsh back then. But I remind myself now, thinking back of those, it's like Star Wars are kids' movies, man. That's for a young audience. It's not made for 45-year-old men like us, or almost 50-year-old men now, thank God, or unfortunately, however you want to look at it.
We're knocking on that door, bro.
Yeah, it's real close, man.
We're knocking.
So
no matter how much we hit them brakes.
So I try to remind myself, like for a generation or two, like these are their Star Wars movies, and like while I'm not like stoked on that for them, I bet they love them. I mean, people are going to that Disneyland park all the time.
I think loved these movies when they came out.
Sure.
I don't know how but I don't think they have the same,
because they don't have the connection to Han and Luke and Leia like we do. They're about Finn and Rey and Poe and those guys, and I can respect that. I can.
Right.
I don't like it, but I respect it.
And like I said, they're good characters.
They're
I'm
really
not
good characters. For me, like where if you really want me to get fired up and start talking some mad trash about the sequel era, it's the treatment of the legacy characters. I can talk about that for days, and I sort of have to just like grit my teeth and be like, okay, this is the choice they're making because this is the kind of story they're trying to tell and the messages they're trying to convey by showing us our heroes are fallible, which I don't think we needed, but whatever. Luke and Han failed plenty in the original trilogy, but they still persevered in 1. But to see them kind of be like the high school characters who like reached their peak and then it's never been the same ever since.
Who peaked at the Death Star?
Yeah, it's like that bums me out to no end. And again, we can talk more. I'll talk about Luke for days when we get to the Last Jedi. But
man, it's gonna be rough.
Oh, that movie had. has me so conflicted. I'm right down the middle on that movie in so many ways. But again, for the
I
Force
wish
Awakens,
I could be conflicted on it. Like I don't want to be in the camp I am on that movie.
Again, I wonder if maybe they're trying to see if these movies age better when there's less expectation on them. You know, and I feel like that's why JJ made a lot of the choices he makes for this movie is because of the burden of expectation. So he gives us something familiar with a little bit of new dashed in, and
Right.
kind of like hopes for the best. You know, it's like see if we can shake it out with good new characters, but a familiar trapping that will keep the old folks happy. And you know, I think by and large it works.
Yeah, I'd say he walks that tightrope very well in
Yeah.
this movie because you get enough of the legacy characters. Like that moment that Han and Leia are standing across from each other.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, this is fantastic. This
Yeah.
is what I've been waiting
Yeah.
20 minutes for. Say when Han and Chewie get on the Falcon and they're like, we're home. You're like, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, from the trailer.
Well, in the
You're
movie,
like, yeah.
the movie's strung together by great moments. You know, you have a really solid opening. You have the stuff at Nima Outpost. You have Takodana, or I'm sorry, between that you have the chase, the Millennium Falcon reveal and the chase. You have Takodana battle. You have the reunion. You know, then you have the Star Killer base stuff. You know, you have all these like moments that are impactful visually. So you know, it's just kind of like the stuff in the middle that you're like, I don't know. But again, visually, it's a stunning movie, and it's I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Getting into that third act, you know, you go to Star Killer Base again. It's familiar because it's the Death Star, but like it's on a planet this time, so it's a little bit different. But I mean, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Kylo and Han. The moment, like, when did you did you have the same sinking feeling in your stomach that I had in that theater?
Yeah.
Han walks on that platform and calls out his name, calls him Ben, and you're like, oh, this can't end well.
Yeah. He's been begging to get killed in Star Wars for 30 years.
You're not wrong, sir. You're not wrong.
So when he came back, I was like, oh, there's no chance he's making it through this sequel.
But it's and again, as much as I hate the end result, it's a really great scene, and it's composed excellently. The visuals, the way the light is used, the fading of the light to signal the end of Han Solo basically is like when the sun goes down and Star Killer Base is fully charged and that sun is dead, and so is Han, and you're just like, oh no, Han's about to get gutted. Here we go. And you're like, oh no, that's my childhood being stabbed right through the chest.
Right through the heart, and he's gone forever. Chewie's reaction, immediately shooting, but it was essentially his godson.
Yes, I was going to bring that up too. I was like wow.
Without a second thought. And I was like, I never thought about how quickly he fires.
He's like, F that. I knew that kid was a punk. I'm going to get him.
Yeah. And I like that Kylo doesn't even try and block it because he's so distracted that like his force is just dull.
Yeah, and
he actually gets shot.
Well, and again, I mean, it goes onto like the familiar themes that we know about our bad guys. Like they're conflicted, they're torn apart on the inside. Anakin, Vader, you know, like Kylo now. You know, there's doubt, but their need to be in control and have power and to do the things that they want to do makes them do these things. And again, like you said earlier, killing Han Solo, in my book, irredeemable.
Yeah, shouldn't.
So whenever they toyed the idea of redemption in the other two movies, I'm just like, nope, not gonna happen.
Yeah. It's not in the time of when they were coming out. I wasn't really thinking about it, but during this rewatch, I thought, oh no, he's done way too much, and I guess Vader did a lot of bad stuff.
Right, he kills a lot of kids.
Yeah. He takes out a group of younglings pretty quickly.
Which, can we just talk about that really quick? Because like, I mean, I know. Again, this is that movie in particular is like at least 20 years old at this point, but it's just like, oh no, we have to double down on how evil Vader is. Like he's gonna murder a bunch of kids right now.
Right.
It's like killing planets wasn't bad enough. It's like, no, I'm gonna go into a room and lightsaber small children.
Yeah. Master Skywalker, the stormtroopers in the building. Oh, no, kid, you gotta run, dude.
Yeah. Red eyes, get out of there.
Yeah.
I don't think he had the red eyes just yet. But,
Somebody grab Grogu and get out of here, man.
Yeah. What's Keller and Beck doing? Just saving one kid. Get out of here.
You do what you can.
Selfish jerk.
But Bale was there. He almost got somebody out.
He almost got shot himself.
Yeah. Wasn't that Jet?
Yeah, Jet Lucas. Yeah.
Jet Lucas. Yeah. Almost made it out, baby.
But hey, and hey, we saw something in this movie I never thought I'd see. Wookiee fingers.
It's that scene, like after Han's killed and Chewbacca is basically shooting. He's John Wick, just reverse.
Yes,
it's awesome. I'm glad to see because like Chewie doesn't get to do a lot in the original trilogy because it's a big hairy suit and he's the co-pilot most of the time and he screams.
No.
So it's nice to see him just be a complete badass in multiple points during this.
100%. The love for the
bowcaster, his shit.
The love for the bowcaster in this movie. Come on, finally.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's not just a prop in someone's hand.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he fires it on Endor, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, no, he uses in the other movies. But like again, like Chewie gets a little bit more love in this flick for sure. So I think that because if memory serves, it was the last time that Peter Mayhew got to play Chewbacca for a little bit. He wasn't entirely on his own, but
right there was a new guy.
Yeah, the new guy came on board as well in this flick and did some of the more physical stuff. But I thought it was a great way to send out Peter Mayhew. You know, like get to be Chewbacca and give Chewbacca a little bit more limelight. Heck yeah, dude!
It was perfect.
And again, you know, we talk. I talk about my love for the expanded universe. If there's one thing if there's one character the expanded universe failed, it's Chewbacca. You know, they let that guy down bad and they killed him dirty. Let's be honest.
He saved a child,
and then had a moon fall on him.
Yeah,
kind of gnarly.
Awesome.
No, I mean, listen.
Awesome. And then Han Solo is a dick to that child for like 2 books. He's like, if you've read Vector Prime, he is so mean to his youngest son because he allowed Chewbacca to die.
I know.
You're like, man, that's your kid, bro.
Yeah. And it is funny because I'm like, well, I guess if you're gonna kill Chewbacca, you better give him like the Klingon, you know, good death kind of thing, you know. And
he screams at a moon as it crashes into him.
Yeah. No, I mean, but Chewbacca had, you know, if he wasn't sidelined in a book, he was kind of like
he was always like, oh, Chewie has to go take care of his kids.
Yeah, they always found reasons to get him out of books because they didn't want to deal with it. I was like, oh, that's bullcrap. Chewie's the best.
It's the Wookiee sleeping cycle, and he has to sleep for 40 minutes.
Yeah, he's gonna miss all this stuff.
Yeah. Until the climax of the book comes and it looks like the end of it, and Chewie's woken up and he's punching the villain in the face.
Yeah,
like, there.
And actually, it was funny too because I just talked about it on a podcast the Han Solo Search for the Falcon comic that came out, and Chewie has a big part in that too. He's very prominent in that book, and it does sort of foreshadow a lot of the stuff in this as like Chewie kind of being like, you know, I love Han, but like Han's not doing like the best things for all of us right now. Like I got to sort of assert myself a little bit more here, and I got to be the contact between Han and Leia because Han's being a big baby and won't talk to his wife. You know, so like it's you know, as far as like laying track after the fact goes, like that comic did a nice job of kind of setting Chewie up that we see in this film.
Did they say how it got stolen in the first place?
Yeah, there's a whole thing about it, but it's a little the fifth issue doesn't land the way I wanted it to because it shows it has Han and Chewie on Jakku going up against Uncor Plot, but they still don't get the ship, and I'm like, well, that's dumb. So like he's just known it's on Jakku because he acts like he doesn't in the movie.
Right, he definitely doesn't know it's on Jakku in the movie.
Yeah, so it didn't really jive. The last issue kind of falls apart. It's a really good book. The last issue doesn't land the way I wanted it to, but it's still mostly good.
So the last place he saw the ship is the first place he never checks.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I saw it on Jakku. I'm never looking on Jakku again. I'll tell you that because it's not there.
Though, did you ever see the deleted scene from The Force Awakens where Uncor Plot tracks them down to Takodana to Maz Kanata's castle?
I didn't watch the deleted scenes today, but I probably watched it before.
It's where so Uncor Plot corners Rey. And it was like, you're going to pay for what you did, blah, blah, blah. And then Chewbacca gets involved, and he's like, back off. You're only half a Wookiee right now because he has he'd been shot in the arm already.
Yeah. So does he rip his arm off?
He rips his arm off. It's so good. I'm like, why is this
That's
a movie?
That's all you want. You want a Wookiee to rip someone's arm off.
It's great. I was like, now that's how you get rid of the Encore Plot character right there. You wrap that one up real quick, and now he has no one arm. He's one arm down.
Yeah, but if you wanted to bring him back in a trilogy, you just give him a robot arm, and he's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. Like, I mean, we never see Encore Plot
I
ever
don't know
again.
why you bring it back. His character's over.
Right, exactly. So just have him be like the one arm man, and he can kill Harrison Ford's wife in another movie.
Yeah. But you got to blame him for it.
You like how I got into The Fugitive on that? We do like the space version of The Fugitive.
Yeah. Who's the space version of Tommy Lee Jones in that? That's how you get Corn Horn in there. That's Corn Horn.
Oh, yes, we did it. We unlocked the Corn Horn puzzle piece. Finally. Yes. All right, so I want to go back into that third act, though. You know, Starkiller Base, all the things are happening. Han's been killed. You and I are gutted. Yeah. But there's still a movie you have to finish. Now, we got all the Starkiller Base, Death Star stuff going on. And, like, yeah, it looks great, but it's... I've seen him blow up Death Stars before.
Fine. You've already seen the battle you want to see, like the space battle. So it's hat on a hat, kind of.
Yeah.
For me, it's more about, like, the planet ripping apart.
But let's get into the lightsaber battle.
Yeah, that's where that
in the snow versus Finn versus Rey.
It looks so good.
Stunning visually.
The lightsabers pop so well.
I'm like, why has no one done this before? Why didn't we think of this before? And obviously technology.
It's expensive.
Technological limitations, you know. But I'm like, I want all my lightsaber battles in the snow. I want all my lightsaber battles in the snow now. It looked so good. Them cutting through the trees.
When he's hitting his wound to make it bleed, you're like, oh, that's bad.
And he's getting himself pumped
up.
So
good. Right.
And again, you know, I do have to sort of, how do you process it? You know, when it comes to Finn having the lightsaber, I definitely feel like he's toying with Finn until Finn actually gets like a shot in, and then he ends it really quickly.
Right. Yeah, and then he's annoyed.
Yeah. But how do you process it with Rey? Again, it looks great, but Rey has never held a lightsaber in her life.
I was thinking of it today. I was like, it would have been nice if she was faking not being trained this whole time. Mm-hmm. Like she'd been, you know, her parent. Like since they're gonna make her parent Palpatine anyway, just make it two Jedis who fell in love and
but at that
like
point,
left the order.
But at
before.
that point, I mean, at that point, I still feel like the rumors of it being like Kenobi's bastard child were strong, as opposed to the Palpatine rumors. Yeah. But I mean, yeah. But at this point, we knew nothing. There's nothing in the cards.
Like, just give her like some sort of training. Because I doubt she learned sword fighting in the desert of Jakku, waiting for her family to come back.
Right.
But in the moment, like when the lightsaber whips by his face into her hand, you gotta be like, yeah, that's awesome.
It's great. It's very, very cool.
So
and
good.
You know, you're understanding that character's connection to the Force, and it's awesome. I mean, the movie hits a lot of the right emotional notes throughout its like 2-hour runtime.
Like I wish when she was tapping into the Force, it was more like a Star Killer from the video game, where it's more like uncontrolled.
Yeah,
you know, like she's just discovering this power. She shouldn't have it as refined as it is, and
well, I mean,
like
if
I know she's really strong in the Force.
I was gonna say
I want to see a lot like more like that's the reason you train it, is to focus it and to be able to use it effectively.
Well, I mean,
like I still wanted to use powers, but like I want like trees exploding.
Right, sure.
Because she's obviously tapping into a dark side power.
Yeah, I mean, Rey's a very emotional character, and
right.
they
but
do...
like Han Solo just was murdered.
Right.
Like she's definitely tapping into like rage and grief and pain.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Which I don't feel they're going, because it's more light versus dark, and I just don't feel JJ pushed it enough to show like she was tapping into the dark side.
No, and again, I should stay in my lane, but they do talk about that too, in a vague sort of manner in The Last Jedi. But
yeah,
that's a different conversation.
But not enough, and I feel that's more retconning at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's very in the lane of that movie, but at the same time, you're like, well, it could connect back to this moment you're talking about as well.
Yeah.
But it is like if she had those Force Unleashed powers, like she would just like throw Kylo Ren off the planet. She could just chuck him into orbit. I mean,
it'd be so much fun. It'd be so much fun.
I mean,
if you've never grabbed onto a stormtrooper and slowly dragged him across a window till it exploded, you're missing out on life.
or just
Not to
chucked
say
him.
that I did it all
Chucked
the
him
time.
from like the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere of a planet. I mean, my God, like those guys were flying.
I know, so much fun because they always said every time. It's so good.
It's a great game.
Those are great video games.
It was a
Even
great
the second one that was so unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was supposed to be a third one
Fun
that got
mechanics.
canceled, but
Fun mechanics.
Oh, agreed. But yeah, I mean Rey's lightsaber skills aside, it's a good scene. And Kylo's trying to like bring her over to the dark side. And it's like, hey, join me. All the classic stuff. Like, you're strong in the Force. I'm strong in the Force. Let's be friends.
Right.
Let's do this together. Rule of
Unlimited
2.
power. I get you.
Yeah, we'll take down Snoke, and this will be our place. I got you. It's a good scene. I can't get mad at it. It lands.
There is one point when he says the Force to her, and she says the Force back, like she forgot what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't like that line there. Where she's like, oh, right, I can use the Force. And then she starts to win the battle.
Yeah, she closes her eyes, which is a weird moment too. And he's just like waiting for her to open them again. That's a little weird. Oh. But I want to, in my mind continuity, it just happens faster than in the movie.
Yeah. The Force, it slows down for us so we can understand what's happening.
Yeah,
It'd be blur fighting if we did it.
Right. So, but I mean, there are sort of like those things in the movie where like they don't talk about that stuff a ton. Like all this stuff is mythology to these younger characters, and it isn't until like Han's like, no, it's all true. Like all this stuff that you think is a myth, that happened. It's real.
It all happened. It's all real.
So like, I suppose it does make a certain amount of sense for her to kind of be like, oh yeah, that thing that I thought was like, a story. Maybe I should.
Of that time story is real.
Yeah. So
even though I just grabbed a light sword out of the air,
I know, there are some inconsistencies, but it hits when it needs to hit. I think.
Yeah. It
lands its moments.
So good.
Yeah.
I don't like that she defeats them. Actually, like
she gets her shots in, like, and again, I guess you have to say that Kylo was A, wounded, and probably B, distracted by like
that's the only way it makes sense.
Because
he's been trained by Luke Skywalker.
Right. In my opinion, he should have dispatched her fairly quickly, but that's not a very good movie if he does.
No, so that's like he could in my opinion, he should have got like about to make it the final blow. The planet rips apart. He can't get to her with his Force jump.
All right.
The battle on Mustafar where they're being separated by lava.
On the lava,
they're getting separated by two giant mountains, and they can't get to each other, and then they'll meet up in the next movie to fight some more.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Like Rey never got the high ground, so she wasn't going to win.
Yeah, right. Well, she shouldn't have won. I know she needs to win, but she shouldn't have won.
In the category of nits to pick, I also was like, we never see Kylo actually get off the planet, which sort of bothered me. Like, it's just sort of like, that's where we leave Kylo Ren, and you're like, well, he's not dead, clearly. Can we just show, like, Hux coming to pick him up or something?
I'm sure he had his personal TIE fighter on the planet.
Well, again, there's that scene, Hux runs into the chamber to talk to Snoke, and he's like, the station's going astray, blah, 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 and Snoke's like, grab Kylo Ren and meet me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. So, like, that's kind of the only exposition we got as far as that goes. Even though we know Hux and Kylo don't exactly get along.
Yeah.
But I guess we just assume. But the evacuation, let me talk about that real quick. The evacuation of Starkiller Base, when the planet's falling apart, and you see like TIE fighters taking off, and then one of them just gets like just leveled by a rock flying through the air.
It's great.
It's so good. There's a lot of like little things like that in the movie that I really enjoyed. Hux is. We talked a little bit about Hux. He was a character that I liked a lot too. Snoke always felt, and again, maybe it's just because I know JJ. Snoke always felt like a misdirect, so I never really bought it. I never really understood Snoke. I'm like, where did this guy come from? How did he influence Ben? Like, what are these things that they keep sort of alluding to, but we never really get any details on? It bothered me.
Wasn't he like a senator in the books? I thought that in the Aftermath book.
But now that Force Awakens or now that Rise of Skywalker has come out and said he's a clone, like, was he really doing all these things? Like, and again, how does like Leia not see like a familiar pattern of a senator grabbing power and becoming evil?
Yeah.
especially one whose like face is all effed up like that.
Right.
I don't know. The whole Snoke thing, I think, is my biggest hiccup in that movie, and in the next one as well. Because I'm just like, I don't understand this character at all.
Yeah. What? Do you actually see real Snoke? I can't even remember now. I just watched this movie.
No,
he's just hollow image.
He's all hologram in this one.
Okay, that's what I thought. He's not really shown until the next movie.
Right.
And I was expecting him to be really tiny for some reason in the next movie.
It would have been pretty funny if he's pocket sized. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, he's like what's that little guy who fixes the robot? The little, like that size, like real tiny.
Real tiny. Yeah, no, I don't. I can't remember now what those. Only my
that
tongue.
Cute little guy.
Yeah, I know.
You know, Star Wars loves cute little guys.
Yeah, but yeah, like Snoke, I guess, is like my biggest problem with the movies, and I guess that's why, like, in Last Jedi, I'm like, when they dispatch him, I'm like, good, because he was kind of useless anyways. I didn't understand him.
Right.
So thank God he's out of the movie.
I would.
It just felt like
dispatch him. I would have liked it if it was more of like a Sith thing, where Kylo had just decided to outsmart him. I guess he kind of does, but it's not. It's more. It felt more heat of the moment.
Sith is like a word they don't drop in the sequel trilogy really at all, and not until Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
You know,
and that, you know, you could have had him getting seduced by like a dark holocron, where he found one that he liked the ideas in, and that's how he started to slip to the dark side.
Yeah.
By reading forbidden knowledge, and you know, but they wanted to play in the gray areas and stuff. And
I think Snoke is like my biggest issue with. I don't like Starkiller Base, but like Snoke, I just don't. It's like I just don't understand him. It's just like an Emperor stand-in, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily he's not in this.
The Emperor will come back somehow.
He's returned somehow. Good God. I don't want to talk about that movie in a couple of years. I really don't. Man.
Just the fact they announced that in Fortnite, and we're like, everybody's going to watch this.
Oh, gosh. Crazy
time.
I mean, so getting back to the end of the movie, Starkiller Base is destroyed. The heroes have won. Chewie, BB-8 and R2 gets R2-D2 to reactivate. They put the map together. We know where Luke is. Rey and Chewie are going to go off with R2, and they're going to find Luke. And so we go, and like this is how we end the movie. Like Rey approaches Luke with his and his
Luke
father's lightsaber.
Still tingly.
Yeah,
like you get goosebumps.
Yeah, but I still can't shake the feeling that we missed an opportunity to have a grand adventure with Luke Skywalker. If we had stayed with the hunt for Luke Skywalker story that we started, potentially though, in a sense, Han becomes the Obi-Wan stand-in in this movie for Rey as like the father figure for her, and I'm fine with that. But again, I just feel like if there's one thing the sequel trilogy has failed at, it was reuniting our legacy characters together, because they're never in a scene together other than Han and Leia. Like Luke doesn't see anybody in this movie, you know.
Nope.
And he barely sees anyone in the next one.
Right.
And you're like, oh, this just feels like a missed opportunity again, because you open this movie and it's all about the hunt for Luke Skywalker. But we get sidetracked real quick. And like we don't resume that hunt until the very, very end. And then we end with seeing Luke. But Luke's not been a part of this? What? Really?
It would have been nice to get the core four back together for at least one scene.
100%.
You know, all back on like, you know, around the chess table. Mm-hmm. You know, just having a moment together. Like,
I think you mean the Jarek table. But
yeah. Sorry. Nerd.
I just got nerd shamed on my own show. Thank you. No, again, like I watched this movie and I enjoyed it and I had fun and I think I enjoyed it the most since I first watched it. I had a good time. I tried to shut out all my BS that's in my head about it. But when I really break it down, I'm just like, man, it still feels like a missed opportunity in the grand scheme of things because, like you were saying, the core four not together. We could have had one last adventure with them all together, introducing a new generation, and it feels like we got sort of sidetracked because of things.
Yeah, it's just it's a lot. This movie is long.
It's long, and there's a lot of things happening.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. They're setting up a lot.
But I mean, there were spots that they could have trimmed some things up.
Also, one of my something I want to pick at that really bothered me while doing this rewatch.
Yeah, get it. Now's the
I
time.
just thought about it. They didn't know about Starkiller Base. They had no plans for it.
Right.
It shows up, boom, blows up planets.
Yep.
22 seconds later, they have full schematics of Starkiller Base in a meeting room. Where are the Bothans that got that? Who got that there?
There was, I forget if it was in, what was it in? Oh, there was something that's Snap Wexley had done a reconnaissance mission and was able to scan the system. I don't think it was a deleted scene. I think it was something maybe in the comics or in one of the books. I can't remember for sure.
A book or something.
It might have been in the novelization of The Force Awakens, honestly. I can't remember for sure. But yeah,
he got that close to that base without like TIE fighters shooting him out of the sky.
I guess their sensors are like super awesome in the sequel era.
I mean, it was really hard to get the Death Star plans.
Dude, listen, don't even get me started on the Bothans because like they still haven't shown up in the new continuity yet, and that makes me angry. They were so huge in the old canon, but we can't bring a single.
They are a major part.
We can't bring a single Bothan into the new canon other than the reference in Return of the Jedi. Like
yeah,
we still
that's it.
Like, what's going on here? Why are the Bothans being shunned? What is this Bothan conspiracy? I don't understand it.
They don't want to pay for the CGI to make some furry costume.
It's annoying. I find it annoying. The Bothans are not a thing in the new canon right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me. Okay. So I feel like we've covered the movie, right? Anything we haven't hit on that you wanted to get into?
Let's see. Oh, a part I loved.
Mm-hmm.
Rey escapes. Like she starts using her force power. She gets out.
Daniel Craig, Stormtrooper.
Yeah,
so
Daniel
good.
Craig, great. Kylo Ren comes in and starts exploding. The two Stormtroopers that come down the hallway and are like, nope. The most relatable thing in this movie where you're like, my boss is having a meltdown in that room. I'm getting away from it.
I did enjoy Kylo's temper tantrums. I did enjoy that Kylo was sort of a bratty child. You know?
It's
like he's not. He knows he's not good enough to be Vader, and like that just makes him even angrier. So like he has these outbursts, and I think it's hilarious. Like when he finds out, you know, when they escape from Jakku, and he's like, a droid stole a freighter, you know, and he like, just cuts the computer screens all to shreds, and the guy's just standing there with sparks flying on his face. And then obviously the next one you referenced, so good.
It's because he has a lot. Kylo Ren has a ton of successes for a bad guy in these films.
Yeah,
he's making progress more than most people do in entire movies.
Yeah,
and he's still getting foiled and throwing tantrums, and I like that. I wish they'd played into more of his insecurities about not being good enough, not being strong enough, or like just to make him more evil. I know, as I said, as he kills Han Solo in this movie, but I need more. I need a less redeemable character, and I like Adam Driver a lot.
I was just gonna say
I like him a lot, and I think he's great in this role.
I was gonna say we haven't singled out any of the cast members because like they're all really really good, but Adam Driver is exceptional. I think as Kylo,
and Daisy is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, Poe and Finn have great chemistry.
Everyone's really good. I can't think of one. They're all
just
great.
Really dynamic relationships on screen between a lot of these new characters, and it's fantastic. And again, without I don't want to poke the bear on this, but like Adam Driver's even better in The Last Jedi. Just saying it. Like
really good. Go watch his SNL sketches of Kylo Ren at Starkiller Base.
Underkiller Boss.
They're gonna make you giggle. Yeah. They're gonna make you giggle.
Those Undercover Bosses are pretty good. How'd you like to be dead? Oh my God. Yeah. No. So yeah. I mean, gosh, there's a lot in this movie. I feel like we've hit most of the big things.
I think we've hit all the big things, and now it's just little stuff.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get to the big question, Regan. Is this movie still good?
Yeah, it's still good.
It's still good.
It's a good soft reboot. It pays enough to the original fans to bring them in and be like, you're going to be taken care of. I mean, you're not, but you feel like you are going to be taken care of at this time.
Yeah. No matter where the sequel trilogy goes from here, this is a good starting point. You know?
Right. And
is it the movie I would have made? No, but it's a good starting point fun new characters. The legacies are there. Do I like the way they're used? Nah. But again, movies aren't made for me. They're not made for me. I get it. I understand. But yeah, it's a really, really enjoyable rewatch. I had a good time watching this one from start to finish.
It's also a foundation to build off the new characters
100%.
where they're all four of the main new characters are interesting.
Yeah.
And you want to know more about them.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, it sets up a ton of stuff. It sets up a interesting, if somewhat redundant era of Star Wars, but you're intrigued. You want to know more. You are the guy in Starship Troopers. Would you like to know more? Yes, I would.
Yes, and I'm clicking that button.
I'm clicking the button.
Or blinking at it, or however they do it.
However it worked. I don't remember now. But yeah.
It just, if you don't see them clicking, it just clicks. So like.
But no, The Force Awakens was a good time in theaters. I know in subsequent years, I found more things to pick apart about it. But again, trying to go into this clean, not thinking too deeply about where the saga goes from here, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I would say if you haven't watched it in a while, give it a watch. Try not to worry about what happens later in the saga. Just focus on this one.
Because I'm going to tell you, it's going to be hard. You're going to think about those other two movies.
For a lot of people, this might be the high point of the sequel trilogy. So enjoy it. Regan, you got anything you want to share with the good people before you get out of here?
If you'd like hearing me talk about random movie stuff,
and who doesn't?
Come on over. Yeah, come on over to Come On It's Still Good.
Hit them links.
Yeah.
I know
at OSGPod.
I know you know all the socials. Let's go.
Yeah, all that stuff. We're over there. We just did, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
A great
flick.
We
just did a Long Kiss Goodnight. A couple Shane Black films in there. We did the holiday classic. I can't think of the orgy movie with Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman. Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Check it out. It's a great holiday film. We got some great stuff over there.
Nice.
My brothers and I have a great time talking about some great movies.
With wonderful interjections from E as well.
Yeah, E is an integral part of our podcast, and we could not do it without him.
It's a good listen.
We would get distracted and talk about Deep Space Nine all the time.
It's a good listen, and I've known these guys forever. So like I trust their opinions on movies quite a bit. So go check out the Come On It's So Good podcast. Regan, thank you for being here, my guy. I'm glad we got to do this. It's been too long since you and I talked about Star Wars. We'll have to do it again soon. There's a new movie coming out. Let's make it happen.
Can't wait.
We'll link up for that one.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, my guy. I will talk to you down the road. Thanks for hanging out.
All right, thank you. Aboosh.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47.
It's a trap!
All right, Bucketheads, there you have it. The conversation between Regan and myself about The Force Awakens. I think we hit a lot of the main topics that we wanted to get into. One of the things I noted that we didn't get into as much as we wanted to, and I did confirm with Regan after we stopped recording, we both neglected to mention how much we enjoyed BB-8 in this movie. I want to stress that as BB-8, they as a character, BB-8 is fantastic, an amazing addition to Star Wars, a wonderful addition to the amazing lineage of droids in the saga thus far. And I think, again, I'm speaking for myself on this, but speaking about BB-8, we remember the trailers, remember the teaser trailers, and those first shots of BB-8. It was just like a rolling soccer ball with a little head, and we weren't quite sure what to think of it. Like, we liked it; it was cute, but did we know? Did we understand, like, what BB-8 would be and become? And the fact that BB-8 is a practical effect, that is actually a functioning droid that rolls around with a head that stays on top of itself. I mean, it's impressive technology. I've seen a BB-8 unit at San Diego Comic-Con in the past. I mean, it's visually stunning. I have a miniature BB-8 myself that I can control with an app on my phone. That's fun, especially if you have a hardwood floor where you can really get some traction. BB-8, a wonderful addition to Star Wars that maybe we didn't spend enough time talking to. The way he emotes, the way he communicates with people, his back and forth with Finn in The Force Awakens. Obviously, the thumbs up lighter move is a classic. Regan and I both wanted to emphasize how much we liked the BB-8 and his inclusion and creation for this movie, because it was something we didn't talk about enough in our conversation. With that being said, I think we're wrapping things up. Again, I appreciate you guys being here for another stellar Star Wars Day podcast episode, celebrating the very first Star Wars podcast that launched on this day back in 1999, Jedi Talk. Thanks to that team for putting themselves out there and blazing a path for all Star Wars podcasters that have followed along, myself included. We would not be here without you guys. So thank you very much for doing so. I hope all you bucketheads out there have enjoyed us dipping our toe into the water of talking about the sequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy has been ground that we don't talk about a ton, because I have such conflicted feelings. And I feel like I did a decent enough job today of sort of conveying that, but without getting too negative about things. Again, The Force Awakens has nits to pick, but by and large, what a solid entry into Star Wars and into relaunching the franchise for a new generation, with great new characters, great new interactions between them. Yes, there's some familiar, cliche kind of retreads of things, but by and large, The Force Awakens works, and it holds up great after 10 years. In a couple of years, we're going to see if that holds true for The Last Jedi. And that is a conversation I'm very interested to have, because The Last Jedi is a movie that I've had conflicted feelings about for a long, long time, and we'll be able to dive into those down the road. As I alluded to in this episode, not a fan of what they did with Han in this movie, and I'm not crazy about what they do with Luke in the next movie. But if I table my feelings about Luke in the next movie, there's a lot to like in The Last Jedi. It challenges a lot of our preconceived Star Wars notions. It challenges expectations. It dares us to think outside the box. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Just to kind of tease something that we probably won't talk about for another 2 years. But there it is, all right? Again, Bucketheads, thank you for being here and supporting the podcast, as you always do. Tell your friends, tell your family to make sure they are liking, subscribing, following, and sharing the show with all the Mandalorians in their covert. Follow us on the socials at Mando_Vision on X and Insta, MandoVision at Blue Sky. And, of course, you can email the show, MandoVisionTom@gmail.com. Make sure to like, wait, I did that part. And if possible, or so inclined, sweet 5-star reviews. They are the absolute best thing on any planet in the Star Wars galaxy. All right, Bucketheads, we'll be back next week. Actually, probably sooner than that, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But go out there, be great Star Wars fans, kind, supportive, respectful, understanding, tolerant, and patient with the ones who have different opinions from us. And we'll be back next week. No, sooner. But in the meantime, remember, this podcast can only end one way. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
You expect me to search the galaxy for the home of this creature and deliver it to a race of enemy sorcerers?
This is the way.